As the thumbnail shows, I have a new toy. And you can too. Save 10% right now by using the product code TimKustomModelCars. Click the link in the description. The fine folks at Gaahleri thought Tim Custom would be a great guinea pig for their new Mobius TG trigger type dual action airbrush in 0.5mm and fan cap style. It is premium series. The packaging looks very nice, very attractive. Have some features. It's ergonomically designed grip to reduce fatigue. That's approved. And all that other stuff. Unique spiral shaped air channel. Drop-in nozzle. Okay. That seems cool. The back shows a diagram of all of the parts. That looks a little daunting, but for those familiar with airbrushes, this is probably about typical. So let's get into the box and see what is in here. First, we have some instructions. I'm certainly gonna need these because I'm kind of a rookie. I've never used a trigger style airbrush. This is what I typically use, and I've enjoyed this. This is a Iwata Eclipse HP CS. I believe it has its 0.35mm needle and tip. It works like this, and it works pretty well. So it's gonna be fun to try something different and see how that works for me. So removing this cool piece of foam, kind of like that. I think I'm gonna save that for something. We have the contents of the box. First off, we have some little white donut looking things. Those are probably very important. They're in this bag, so you don't lose them. Put them somewhere safe, maybe over here. And then, ooh, we have the airbrush. My first impression, this is substantial. No, that's not how it works. It goes tss, 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 or at least it should. We're gonna see that in a little bit. As you can see, there is the fan cap already installed, and you just kind of twist it if you want your pattern to do this or your pattern to do this. I think that's the theory anyway. As I said, I don't know. I've never used something like this. This is gonna be fun. Where you put your paint is a separate piece. That's interesting. It's very large and has this cap. So it doesn't fit super snug. I guess it does. Fits snug enough. I typically don't use these caps. I have one for my Iwata, and I don't use it. I just try to be careful. That screws on nice, and that's a lot of paint. That's almost up to the knuckle of paint. So then you also get something else in here. The I guess that's the other nozzle. Okay. So back to the quick start guide. Clearly the fan cap, as we kind of showed, makes paint do this or that. The round cap is gonna make round paint. No, that's like not for painting tires, that's just the pattern that it makes. begin, looks like we have to do something to get the air going to it, because yeah, it is an airbrush, of course. And this comes with this kind of end. And I don't think that that actually is going to fit my hose. So that easily unscrews. It's got a nice little O-ring in it. That's neat. And I just wonder, does that fit? Oh, it does. So that is approved. I do not need to get a new hose. So this project will continue now. Actually, we're going to just not put that back on. So this should be ready to go on my compressor hose. And then what does it say next? Paint. Yep, you squirt it in there. This is interesting. Compatible with any Gaahleri gravity fluid cup. Okay, so I guess they have different sizes. That was one of my first observations, is this one is easily twice the size of what I'm used to, and this is probably about 7 milliliters of paint, and that's typically what I put on a model. I put paint on very thin to not obscure any detail, and if I have to add any more to this, maybe on a clear coat, that's about the only time that I do more than 7 milliliters. Back to the instructions. It kind of shows some adjustments here. Okay, we'll have to read that carefully. And more quick adjustments. Perfect spraying effect. All right, this is too thick. I guess it's kind of splotchy on the edges. Perfect, no, very fine edges. And too thin makes freak dots. Disassemble in order. Okay, that's probably important. And assemble in order. Okay, we'll kind of look at that a bit. Ooh, and it says add lube. Okay, I want a lube, which is probably the same thing that they want for this. This package does not come with it, so that would be an accessory. And then we have some notes. Attention. Do not spray toxic, flammable, or explosive materials. Isn't that what we do? That was probably put in by the lawyers. Just make sure that you use this in a well-ventilated area with a proper spray booth. Please, do not blow up your house. That would be totally ineffective. And then we have more instructions, I think, in all the languages. Yeah, that's French and German. I guess that's Italian. This is a global airbrush. So let's get this thing to the paint booth, see what happens. All right, here we are in Tim Custom's secret paint booth. Yeah, this is where some of it happens. And just a few things to look at beforehand. It is 76 degrees and 56% humidity. This is an important tool for painting, not necessarily for the airbrushing. So those are pretty good numbers. Next, we have a specimen. This is a monogram 71 Cuda that I've put light coat of Tamiya white primer on. So it's kind of ready to go. Pretty smooth. As for color, we have some Tamiya color. TS23 light blue. I know you're thinking you're going to use spray can to airbrush. Here's sort of my deal. I don't really keep paint in stock. So right now I have a very limited paint selection, and basically I use paint when I'm ready to use it. So I have a jigger here of the decanted paint. We'll just dump that in the airbrush here. And there we go. I have it hooked up with my Iwata hose, which matched. And it is emitting air. So I can feel the air coming back. And then I can feel when the paint starts sucking. So it's I think it's ready to just dump the paint and shoot that thing. Not doing any kind of fancy straining or anything. This is the first time using this. I'm just trying it out. See what you guys think. Here we go. Oh wow. Uh-oh. My first thing I see is this is going this way, and that's not necessarily what I want. So we're going to just turn it 90 degrees, and maybe it gives the pattern that I really want. I didn't even test it. That's bad. I never claimed to be a master painter. Here we go. Right now it's a very wide spray pattern, much wider than my Iwata, which is good for painting, especially for painting candies. Just gonna let that sit. I've used probably about, I've filled the cap up maybe about halfway, and I've used probably about half of that. So it's still got about a quarter left. I don't know if we can do this without making a mess, so let's not. After that, it's pretty low, and you can kind of see maybe in the cup I have about a 1/8 of an inch maybe left in that cup. We're going to just hose all of this. Try not to make a mess. Now the cup is about halfway. Now I'm out of paint. There you can see it.
Well, we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to find out how to clean this up. So at the cleanup desk, here we have the Mobius TG and the instructions. And it says disassemble in order. So we're going to follow the instructions. And I guess you pull out, remove the handle, loosen the needle chucking nut, pull out the needle. So let's do that. There's the needle. Okay, we'll set it over to the side. Next, I'm going to remove that and the fan cap. There's a little bit of paint residue on it. I could probably just wipe that off, but I'm just kind of seeing how much we got in here. Oh, look. There's where that little gasket doodaddy goes. Okay. And we set that off. So, and then I'm going to remove the paint cup. And what I like so far is this thing is pretty clean, as it is. So I have my paint rag, and I have a little bit of bowl of lacquer thinner here. And I'm gonna just give that a nice wipe down, set it off to the side, clean that paint up. Got a little pipe cleaner, just because I like to keep my gun clean. I'm kind of just like that. So that piece looks good, and then I'm gonna just. Ooh, that really didn't have any kind of paint in it. That's something I kind of like, is there's not a lot of paint residue left over from just kind of shooting out paint through the cup. So that's approved. And then assemble in order. I guess it says please tighten, reassemble the parts in sequence. We got that out in the lock nut. And then what is, I don't really understand what, please tighten the nozzle cap. Okay, they want you to do that before you put the needle back in. So let's do that. I would say that that's so when you put the needle back in, it doesn't squish the cap out. So is it gonna do what it needs to do? It's a little tight, but there it goes. Okay, it's back in. Tighten that down. I guess you got some kind of adjustment here. I bet that's another kind of paint adjustment. This thing has so many more adjustments than I'm used to. So this is gonna be a little bit of a learning curve, which is cool. Give it another quick wipe down. So it's ready for my next painting experiment. I hope you enjoyed this little review of the Gaahleri Premium Mobius TG 0.5 trigger fan tip airbrush. I got a whole lot more stuff that I want to try with this, and those are going to have to be for the next video. But in the meantime, I thank the people at Gaahleri for letting me try this out, and I gotta say, so far I'm pretty impressed, especially when it comes to painting any kind of big fan candies or whatnot. So maybe that's the next thing to try. As always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do, because I have all kinds of model car stories to tell. Thanks for watching.